What do you guys think of this t-shirt? Strongman. Shout out to Massonomics. I bought this myself. I liked it just because it's like a NES cartridge with a Strongman on the front. Never actually done Strongman stuff myself, but I would love to one day when the apocalypse is over. But anyway, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope your training has been going strong. In fact, before we even start with today's video, accountability check-in. Let me know in the comments, how have you guys been getting on this past week? Last week we dropped a video on how to stay motivated, all the kind of systems you should put in place to keep you accountable with your workouts. And I said if you need a kind of accountability buddy, I will be that person. Some of you guys, loads of you guys dropped comments down below to kind of talk about what you wanted to do last week, so you gotta update me, because if you're not in the comments, I know you be hiding. Don't be hiding. Tell me, how's it been going this past week? Let me know what's up. But today, I want to talk about home workouts. I want to talk more specifically about how to make your home workouts fun. So let's get it. Alright, look, let me just start with, I get it, right? Home workouts, when you're trying to work out in a different environment and you don't have the equipment you want and you're just stuck with things like bands and, you know, whatever you can throw in your backpack or like a water bottle or a bag of rice, I get it. It's hard to get in the zone. It's hard to take your workout as seriously as if you were physically in a gym in an environment designed for working out. And I know I'm fortunate enough to now have some equipment myself at home. You know, I've got a barbell, I've got a half rack and whatnot, but it wasn't always like that. I started, you know, my first lockdown with whatever I could find or pick up on Amazon. It was kind of tough. So I can sympathize with, you know, people kind of wanting to get active, wanting to get moving, but just not feeling that enthused when it comes to taking the home workouts as seriously as something else. So we're going to go through a few tips on how to make them more fun and how to kind of just make it so that it's something you can actually stick to long term. So number one is to track what you are doing. Now this sounds obvious, but hear me out for a minute. When you go to a conventional gym, go to a regular gym, you're following a plan, you're probably very used to the fact that you're like, all right, cool, you know, this week I've got to deadlift 100 kilograms, bench press 80 kilograms, you know, this, that, and the other. You have your sets, you have your reps, you write it down, maybe it's on your phone, maybe you've got a card. However you do it, you write down your progress, and the idea is that next week you want to either do more reps, lift more weight. Generally speaking, that's the goal, right? You're like, okay, cool, and you track it. What a lot of people find they do when they go into home workouts and they get into a weird situation where they're just trying to sort of get by with things like bands is they don't treat the home workouts in the same way they would a regular, normal workout, so to speak. And what I mean by that is when it comes to tracking, some people will be like, all right, cool, you know, my home workout is 20 bodyweight squats, 15 press-ups, I don't know, some crunches. And then people will be like, they're the numbers I'm given, I'll just do that, and then you kind of go through the motions. Now, there's nothing wrong with going through the motions, there's nothing wrong with doing the same thing week in, week out. But, let's be honest, from a kind of adherence and just like general interest point of view, you kind of want to feel like you're working towards something, right? That's why going to the gym and picking up heavy things is so exciting, because you're like, I can pick up a heavier thing. So when it comes to home workouts, it's really important to make sure that you still track things in the same way you would before. Even if you've got things like bands and you're doing banded push-ups or banded rows or anything like that, you can still progress them in a different way. Keep in mind, progressive overload doesn't always have to mean adding more weight. It can also mean doing more reps. It can also mean just, you know, doing better controlled reps. So if you get to your workout that week and you've got like 3 sets of 10 press-ups, then make sure the next week you try and do 3 sets of 11, or like, I don't know, 1 set of 11, 2 sets of 10, and keep progressing that way. And by writing it down, you're automatically taking it a lot more seriously and tracking it in the same way you would normally. This then allows you to look back at your progress. Even when you're doing home workout stuff, sometimes it's hard to sort of see how far you've come. You look back and you're like, well, at least if I was lifting weights, I could say I've lifted 20 more kilograms. I've only got a band. What can I say? Whereas if you've been writing it down, you'd be like, well, at least when I started, I could only do, I don't know, 15 banded rows, and now I can do 25. It's still progression. It might not be as exciting, I get it, you know, picking up weights is still infinitely more exciting, but writing it down, tracking it properly is a way to take it a lot more seriously. When I say take it seriously, I don't mean like, let's make this super serious and super boring. I just mean when you take it seriously, it means more to you, and therefore you can stick to it for longer. Moving on from there to number 2, be more efficient with your workouts. Again, you know, if you're someone like me that likes lifting, maybe when the gyms are open, you're more than happy to go to a gym and spend an hour, maybe even 90 minutes there, because lifting weights, taking your rest times, all that kind of stuff is fun to you. However, when you're trying to do that at home in an environment that is, you know, not necessarily naturally conducive for that, maybe you're having to work out in your kitchen or your living room or your office like I have to, then, you know, it's not necessarily always the same thing. So if you are more efficient with your time and getting things into a more condensed window, it can not only, make it a lot easier to stick to them, but you can also add some challenge factor into there. If you take a lot of your movements and you start supersetting them, you do your press ups and you go straight into rows. You've got a push and a pull motion. You do some pull-ups and you go straight into some overhead press, that kind of stuff. If you do them as supersets, not only can you condense your time down massively and suddenly turn what might have been an hour-long workout with bands into 40 minutes or 30 minutes, but also in doing supersets, you also add a new challenge factor to it, which in and of itself might make the process more enjoyable, but more importantly, the time you save is just going to make it a lot easier and a lot more fun when it comes to sneaking in that workout. If you start in the morning, you wake up and you're like, I'm tired, and I really don't want to spend an hour with bands, but if you're like, you know what, I can smash it out in half an hour, let's see how those supersets go. Suddenly, it's a new dynamic, it's a new challenge, and it keeps things fresh. After that, point number 3 is to set yourself some goals. Again, there is no reason why a banded home workout or just whatever you can do at home, or even body weights, should be treated any differently to what you would do in the gym. In that you're going to have your goals. Not everyone's goal is to be super strong and lift 300 kilograms. Some people might want to lose weight. Some people might want to run for longer. But again, a lot of people are very used to setting goals when they are in a gym environment. But the second they're sitting at home, they're just like, I'll just do whatever I feel like. Again, a goal is something you can use to keep you accountable. And we're gamers, right? We like working towards numbers. We like seeing numbers go up. We like being able to achieve things and get those achievements. So setting yourself a goal is another way to kind of tell yourself that your home workouts are still progressing. Again, it can be very easy to sort of lose that direction. Sometimes you'll be like, I just feel like I've been in the same place for the past few weeks. But if you then look at it in relation to a goal you might have set, let's say you start and you're like, you know what, by the end of lockdown, I want to be able to do 50 press ups without stopping. So you start at the beginning, you're like, I can do 10. Next week you can do 12. The week after you can do 15. And then you keep progressing, and that way, even on those days where you kind of lose sight of the progress you've made, or perhaps just lose interest in it, you can be like, you know what, I am closer to my goal, I'm close to my destination, so let's keep going. So setting goals is incredibly important, if anything more so when you're at home, because again, anything you can do to sort of simulate that environment that you would normally have been in and trained in helps you stick to the program. And then finally, number 4, do something fun. Remember, working out doesn't always just have to be this thing you're just doing to just keep you healthy, stop you from rusting up and falling apart, right? I mean, working out is fun. I love it. It's the thing that I do. This is part of the reason that I make content over this, because I really enjoy it. But remember that working out can be fun. The human body is an incredible machine, right? So while you may have some of your motions and some of your movements and exercises you'll do for your plan out of a matter of necessity, I need to do my squats, I need to do my press ups, I need to do my pull ups, those kind of things like that. Outside of that, pick something that you enjoy, that kind of resonates with you, and work towards that as a goal as well. I mean, recently I discovered this channel called Fitness FAQs. He's fantastic, incredibly knowledgeable when it comes to calisthenics. I have no experience with calisthenics, but he did put together a really cool video on 3 movements that everybody should be able to try with various different regressions. That involves trying to learn how to do handstands. I am nowhere near doing that right now, but I've started kind of factoring it in just as a little fun thing that I can start working towards. And also jump rope and skipping. I've always just kind of done it as a means to warm up, typically before Muay Thai. I haven't done too much of it at home because I generally speaking go walking for my cardio, but it's been so cold recently I haven't been getting my walks in. So the idea of sort of getting back into jump rope and actually trying to sort of do some tricks. I don't know if any of you guys have seen Lauren Jumps on Instagram, or even Dustin. Shout out to my Kratos brother, who is incredibly strong and is incredibly good at skipping and can do some nuts tricks. I'm just I want to be able to do that. Right now I can barely do any of that stuff, but it's just fun to have something that is kind of a little bit away from your regular training, just something you can do for sheer enjoyment but still feel like you're progressing at the same time. So pick a fun activity, work towards it, use that in conjunction with your home workout, and then the whole process suddenly becomes a lot more enjoyable. So there we have it. Those are a few tips that I personally used in my time training at home, just to try and sort of get my head back in the game, sort of focus a lot more and just kind of keep things moving. If you guys have got any tips yourself, things that you find works for you whilst you're training at home, let us know down below. And of course, keep it locked for more from video games. You can follow us over on Instagram to catch some posts. You can catch us over on Twitter. Of course, don't forget to subscribe and turn those notifications. And I'll catch you guys next week.